This week's Parsha Toldot, deals with the tension between Yaakov and Esav, and also appears to show a conflict within the marriage between Yitzchak and Rivka. Rav Hirsch has very poignant statements on this in terms of he sees it as a deficiency in the parenting skills of Yitzchak and Rivka. And I've spoken about this before. It's online. You can talk. I'm from my own Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Yochanan's wife, Shlita. He says that we're talking about the avos and the imos, the matriarchs and the patriarchs who were responsible for the spiritual DNA and the emotional DNA of the Jewish people. So to say that they didn't understand basic parenting skills is very difficult to say, and but I'm not going to focus on that. I really want to focus more on the personality of Esav. Esav is like really an enigma. We find that Pasuk tells us Perek Chav Zayin, Vayehi ki zaken Yitzchak, when Yitzchak became old, Vatechahena einav miros, and his eyes had dimmed, his vision now was challenged, and it's important to know that for the upcoming story. Vayikra es Esav beno, he called Esav his son, Bno HaGadol, his older son. Vayomer elav beni, vayomer elav hineni, and he said, my son, and Esav said, here I am. Vayomer hine zakanti, behold, I am getting old. Lo yadati yomosi, I don't know exactly when it is that I'm going to die. Ata sana chelecha telyacha v'kashtecha, sharpen your gear, your sword, your bow. V'tzeh asada v'tzuda litzayid, go out to the field and hunt for me game. Va'aseh li metamim kasher ahavti, and make for me the delicacies that I love. Va'avia li va'achela, bring it to me and I can eat it. Va'avur tevarechecha nafshi b'terem amos, and this way, somehow that would elevate the soul of Yitzchak and be able to give you the type of blessing that I want to give you before I die. Rivka shomas bedaber Yitzchak el Esav, and Rivka was listening to this conversation. Vayelech Esav asada, so when Esav went out to the field, latzut tzayid lahavi, to hunt his game to bring. For Rivka amra el Yaakov beno lemor, Rivka went and told her son Yaakov, Hine shamati es avicha medaber el Esav achicha lemor, I have heard your father instruct your brother saying, Havel itzai v'asli matamim v'achela, that go and bring me game and make me delicacies so that I can eat, v'arechacha, and I can give you over the blessing, lifnei Hashem lifnei mosi, before Hashem, before I die. V'ata, now b'ni shma b'koli, I want you to listen to my voice. Ashani mitzaveh osach, how I'm going to instruct you. Lecha latzon, go out to the flocks. Kachli mishal mishnei gidoye izim tovim. Bring me 2 young, choice kids, baby goats. And I'll prepare them in the way that he loves. And you'll bring them to your father, and he will eat. That he should bless you, and you should get the blessing before he dies. Yaakov is worried about it. He says, my brother is hairy and I am smooth, and if he feels my arm, he will see that it's him. And she says, don't worry. Any curse you get, I take the curse, but you listen to me, and this is what you got to do. He went, he gets them, he sneaks in, and then it says, Vatikach Rivka es big day Esav beno hagadol hachamudos. Rivka went and got her son's garments, the ones that are chamudos. Chamudos, Rashi says nekios. They were clean. He had a special outfit of clothing in the house, clean, that whenever he would be able to come before his father, he would wear the special suit. He would wear a special clothing to go see his father. The other pshat Rashi is interesting, is that Shechamad Osan, that he had stolen from Nimrod. He killed Nimrod. He took his clothing, a special. Okay, so the point is, Esav has this special clothing. Says the Medrash that one of the Tanoim makes a statement, I don't even reach 1% of the Kibud Av that Esav had for his father, the honor that Esav had his father. He says, I worry that when I go out in public that I should look presentable, I should wear nice clothing. And when I come into the house to serve my parents, whatever, put on the sweatpants, put on a t-shirt. When I go out in public, then I have to be dressed nicely. And Esav, he doesn't care what he wears in public. When he puts on his nice clothes? He puts on nice clothes when he comes to serve his father. So I don't even have 1% of the Kibud Av that Esav. And Esav is seen as this great semel, the great defining character of Kibud Av. So it's difficult itself. He's raping women, he's stealing, he's killing. Kibud Av. That's something that's very, very important to him. So what's the motivation? Right? So it's not because it's a mitzvah. It's not because you're doing God's. So obviously there's something that's motivating him, and it's motivating him in such a way that it appears that he's doing it even at a greater level than the standard way of honoring. Okay, so that's fine. So you see, but we don't see that he's the paragon of Kibud Av. If you read the storyline I'm going to share with you over here, we seem to that something is very enigmatic, because Rashi brings down why was Yitzchak's eyes dimmed? One of the reasons that he is losing his vision, it's from the incense of his wives that are serving Avodah Zarah. Right? That doesn't sound like somebody that has that great level of sensitivity about my parents. Pasuk says their souls were embittered by his choice of wives. More than that, Yaakov comes into replaces Esav, right? So Yaakov comes in. So what happens over here? So he shows up and he says, so this Oros Gediyah Ha'izim Hilbisha, she put on him the goat skins on his arms, Valchelka Savarav, and around his neck, so that if he does get touched by his father, then he won't realize that I'm dealing with someone who's smooth skin, and then he'll think it's Esav. All right, and Vayaval Aviv Vayomer Avi, and he comes to his father and he says, "Father." Vayomer Hineni Miata Beni. He says, "Here I am. Who are you?" Vayomer Yak El Aviv Anochi. It is I, Esav B'chorecha, Esav, your firstborn. Rashi brings down that he had such a difficulty, not even telling, he had to say it in a way that could be interpreted correctly. It is I, Esav, your firstborn. So it could even be, it is I, but Esav is your firstborn, because he just could not, Yaakov is the Ish Emes. This is difficult for him. He's the, right? Asisish kasher debarta Eli, I did what you instructed me. Kumna, please get up. Shva, sit up. V'achla, and eat. Mitzedi, from my game. Ba'avur tevarchani nafshecha, so that your soul will bless me. And yeah, Yitzchak starts, is a ruse. He says he starts getting a little concerned over here. And he says, Vayomer Yitzchak b'no, ma zeh miharta limtzo b'ni. How's it you did it so quickly? Right? Vayomer ki hikra Hashem elokecho lefonai. That Hashem, your God, caused this to happen. He wants this to happen. He let me catch it quickly. Vayomer Yitzchak Yaakov, show 1 second. Come over here. Let me touch you. Right? V'amushcha, let me feel you, b'ni. Hataza b'ni. Are you my son Esav or not? Says the Ramban. What's going on here? So Ramban says they were twins. So they actually sounded alike. So the actual sound of the voice was not the cue, bring him over and touch me, but was the mannerism. He said, please sit up. He spoke to him in a very nice way, whereas Esav was gruff. Sit, get up, you don't say please, there's no... So I think that itself is difficult to understand. If we see Esav, he's got the sensitivity that he's willing to put on a garment for kibbud ava'im. He doesn't speak to his father in a nice manner. Why? What's the pathology over there? What are we dealing with? A split personality? I mean, what is the idea? He's going above and beyond for kibbud ava'im, and yet he speaks gruffly. The Talmud makes a statement, Yesh ma'achil beno, that there's a person who can feed his father pheasant, the most expensive meats, right? And he's not going to get the mitzvah of kibbud ava'im, and there's somebody that gives him the basic staples. So it's just the main focus by kibbud ava'im is how you're making the father feel. So Esav, this paragon of kibbud ava'im, and he doesn't know to say please to his father, sit up. And Yaakov does, and that's why he thinks it's Yaakov, because of the fact that he's not using please. Just trying to. It seems very enigmatic. What is he keeping about kibbud ava'im? What he's not keeping, He makes comments later on when Yaakov runs away. He says, "I wish I could kill my father. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill Yaakov when my father's alive. If only my father will be dead, and then I can kill Yaakov." It just doesn't seem to stem. There doesn't seem to be a lack of a breakdown in terms of getting a clarity into how or what Esav understands kibbud ava'im to be. The other thing Rashi brings down over here, by the way, for all of those interpretations that Yitzchak was this nebuch, not knowing what's going on, he's blind, he tells us, when he says to his son, Leitzut lahavi, when he says Leitzut lahavi, what is this terminology? What's lahavi? Go and bring it. Make sure you don't bring it from stolen stuff. For someone who doesn't know what's going on with his son, he wouldn't be saying, I have a relative in my family that was very, very close with his father. and he moved away, left Israel, and he was not from the Lamed Vav Tzadikim. He didn't. He happened to be a chazan. He was a chazan, and but he went into the conservative, and he was a very, very good chazan. He was offered a tremendous amount of a position. So he had two offers. One, he would only have to go once a month, Shabbos Mevorchim. He would have to go in, fly into the city, and daven there. We're talking about serious money at the time. And then he had another position that was paying a little more, but he would have to go every Shabbos. And he went to his father, like, what do you think I should do? Which position should I take? And everyone felt that no one really told him where this guy was holding, because the guy's gone through yeshivas. No one, that the father didn't know that he's not really Shomer Shabbos anymore. So it wasn't. So he said, I happened to be there. He said, I'd rather you do the one that's every Shabbos. This way you get to daven 4 times a month. So he told him, they think they don't know. They know exactly who their kids are. They know what's going on, So he tells him, don't take from the stolen stuff. You're going to feed me. Don't take from the stolen stuff. So what's pshat in Esav? So Rashi brings down that Esav, it says, he calls him, he was a hunter. So Rashi brings down, he's actually, one of the things he was hunting, he was trying to entrap his father. He asked him all kinds of frum questions, like, do you have to take meiser, tithing on straw? He would come to him with these questions, it looks like, that he's very careful with the laws of tithing and very careful, So he was ensnaring, trying to entrap his father. Those are difficult, It's like, how does he see that as part of the kibbutz? Maybe trying to make him feel better, okay, you got a son who's a tzaddik. He's trying to. And as we said, Yitzchak knew his son, but the point is Yitzchak was attempting to do that. So what is Taka the Pshat? It's fascinating that we do see in the Talmud, when it gives an example of kibbutz avayim, it gives an example of kibbutz avayim. The one of the main stories of kibbutz avayim involves a Gentile by the name of Dama ben Nesina. What's the story there? The story over there is that the sages heard that he had a certain jewel that they needed for the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. And they came to his house to buy it, and his father was sleeping on top of the chest where the key was, where to get to this jewel. And he told him, I can't sell it to you because I can't wake up my father. And the Talmud says that he was rewarded, because he didn't want to wake up his father, went somewhere else, I guess they got it somewhere else, is that a paraduma, a red heifer, was born into his herd, and then they came back later and they paid even more money to purchase the paraduma. It's interesting, again, an example of kibbutz avayim, and we don't even see it from a being performed by a Jew. It's giving the example of, so the idea of kibbutz avayim, at least there's an aspect of it that we see Esav is connected to. We see this done with Nesina, and it's done. It's almost not logical. One of our parents, you get a clap. What do you mean you just gave up on $1 million sale? You should have woken me up and got the key. But nevertheless, we see it being brought down. In the Chidushei Arim, by the way, says that the Gera Rebbe, one of the Rebbes from the Gera dynasty, he says a beautiful pshat. He says, why was the reward to Dama ben Nesina a parah aduma. That's the red heifer that you slaughter, and the ashes are mixed with water to purify somebody that has come into contact with a dead body. Why is it that? So he says like this. He says that the level of commitment of Dama ben Asina, he says, was one of logic. That's what he says. He says that he feels indebted to his father, and therefore he feels the responsibility, the obligation to do kibbud av va'em. What he's shown is that the Jews are willing to spend millions of dollars on a chok, on something that makes no sense whatsoever. So you're willing to give up on making a lot of money for something that intellectually you understand because of your responsibility to your father. They're willing to spend all this money on parah aduma, which makes no sense whatsoever. So that's the Chiddush HaRim wants to explain why he was given the parah aduma, to show what the Jews are willing to do. That's what he says. I want to develop this a little further. This idea actually I heard from my own Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Yochanan Zweig, it should be well. He said like this. He says that there can be really two motivating factors for why a person does kibbud av va'em. There can be really two motivating factors that why a person does kibbud av va'em. One is out of indebtedness. It's like you feel you have to pay back a chov. You feel there is a debt over you, right? And the other one is because of hakaras hatov, of gratitude. Someone has given you the most unbelievable present in life, and your appreciation for that is what's motivating why you're doing it. But they're both completely different drives. Right? Somebody has lent you money and you owe them a debt. Right? You don't want to feel indebted. Very often you feel like it. What's pushing you is, I don't want someone to feel that I owe them. Right? That's a different thing as how much I appreciate what you've done for me. Different motivation. Now, where will there be more intensity? You can hear that it's possible that the person who just does not, I'll do anything not to feel like I owe someone, will have a greater level of intensity in the way he does it than the person who has a sense of appreciation of what it is that you've done. So it's possible that we can say the following, is that Esav feels a commitment to do kibbud av va'em, but Esav is an independent person. He's a person, he's born, his name is Esav. Esav means asui, completely. He's his own man. He doesn't take direction from anyone. He is completely independent. He cannot feel beholden. He needs, with his impetus, with his drive to do kibbud av va'em is coming because I don't want anyone to feel to have something over me. And in fact, in terms of appreciation, right, you see he downgrades what he has. Right? What's the greatest present our parents give us? Is life. Right? Hine anochi holech lamos. I'm going to die anyway. When do you downplay something? If you don't want to feel indebted, it's not a big deal. What did you really do for me? You downplay when you don't want to feel that. But what's driving him is the sense of being indebted. The Torah way, is not the sense of kibbud av va'em because of a debt. The Torah really would like kibbud av va'em to be is because of hakaras hatov. It means it's out of gratitude. Feeling grateful for giving me existence. Right? And we see that because in most cases, out of the 613 mitzvot, there's very few that actually tells us the reward. Kibbud av va'em is one of the few cases where it does give us the reward. What is the reward for kibbud av va'em? It says, Laman Yarichun, you'll have longevity. The Talmud actually says it doesn't mean long life in this world. It means that you will have a greater existence in the world to come. Now, why is that the reward for Kibbud Av Ha'em? It gives a tremendous insight into what Kibbud Av Ha'em should be. If you look at what your parents' gift for you has been, is they've given you existence, then the way you need to pay them back is what? Is by letting them feel a great appreciation that they exist. The one thing that can give a parent a greater sense of appreciation that they exist, they can get their feeling of appreciation through what they see in their children. Through their children, they feel their sense of existence. The most, Rahman al-Tzlan, the one feeling that a person feels, I have no reason to live anymore, Rahman al-Tzlan, is a person who loses a child. It's a loss of sense of existence. But the opposite, a person's existence comes through. So when a person does Kibbud Av Ha'em the right way, the Mida Keneged Mida, they are rewarded with the ultimate existence. The ultimate existence is the existence in the world to come. That's but the point is, it's a different focus. It's a different focus. It's out of appreciation. It's not driving it because it's a debt. What's driving it is because of an appreciation for what you've given me. And therefore, the way I need to make you feel, right, is I need to make you feel, it's not about what I'm doing for you. It's about giving you the sense of existence through what it is that I'm going to be doing, that you can feel that sense of existence. That's what the ultimate sense of Kibbud Av Ha'em really is. It's not as much as just doing things that, as payback. So,
more nachat, no?
What's that? Giving you nachat, giving sense of that there's a continuity. I know that I'm leaving something behind, that I'm doing something that my efforts are coming to play. So I'm thinking like this. Esav, what he does is more almost like in your face. It's like putting on a suit to go see the parent. It's like he's saying, that's a payback. I'm giving you back. I'm doing things that you shouldn't feel that I shouldn't feel I owe you. I'm paying you back. But I do that. That's on my terms. I'm doing what I feel I can do to pay you back. It's not a question of marrying women that do avodah zarah, things of that nature. That doesn't have to necessarily. That's not a contradiction. Meaning, I'm doing what I need to do to pay you back. How are you going to feel about some of the things that I'm doing? That would be a problem if I've got to give you existence. If I've got to give you existence and an antithesis to your existence is me doing avodah zarah, then how can I do avodah zarah? But that's not his cheshbon. His cheshbon is not, I have to give you a sense of existence. I've got to give you a sense of continuity. That's not what the feeling is. The feeling is, I have to feel like I don't owe you. So whatever I do not to owe you, I do not to owe you. That's all Esav is motivated by. But it's so intense that the way he does it makes anything we do as Kibbud Av Ha'em almost pale. Like who puts on a tux to go see their father? But he is doing it as payback. The way he does it in such a but the other things that might be against what their philosophies are, when he doesn't see that as I do what I do, what I need to do for myself, I'm going to do, because it's all about the way he feels and what he needs to do. And if he wants to marry somebody, or if he wants to do something that might not be what the parent wants, but if he wants it that much, what the parent wants not really important. All he has to do is, I don't feel a debt, so I'm doing what I need to do to get that debt off. But in fact, it's almost like he's trying to control his parent. Going over, he's manipulating him. Asking him a question, should I take Meiser? Asking that question, should I take Meiser from straw? He's trying to control, try and get him a sense of, okay, I have one over him. I've got one over him. It's like also That's a sense, you're trying to control somebody if you feel you're being controlled. I'm being controlled because so therefore I'm reacting, I'm trying to go ahead and control. It's very interesting, and I heard this from our Shiva, I want to bring a proof for it. We know that the Ten Commandments can be read across. We've said in interpretation before, it's a beautiful pshat, we've said in a few verses previously, but you go, Anochi Hashem Elokecha lo sirtzach. I am Hashem your God, do not murder. Right? So Rashi, it means that's why the two tablets are there, because you put them side by side. One reads with 5, 2 reads with 6, you can go across. So Mefarshim, the Rashi and Shir Hashirim brings it down, give different interpretations of how that works, but on I am Lord your God, don't murder. So simply would say is, I'm the only one who's in charge of life, you don't have a right to take it. Rashi says a different shot. Rashi says that everyone's created in God's image, that if you murder, you've diminished God in the world. Beautiful shot. Anoch Hashem Elokecha, I'm the Lord your God, do not murder, because if you murder, there's one less person, there's one less person reflecting God in the world. As it goes through all of them, the one that everyone gets stuck on is Kabedes Avicha Vesimecha Lo Sachmod. Right? So we've said Pshatim in the past. I honor your parents. What does that have to do with Lo Sachmod? Lo Sachmod. So it could be one of the things we're saying over here is that the way to do kibbud av va'em is not in a way to trap your parents or ensnare your parents or trying to pull one over, like plot against them. Lo sachmad is that idea of ensnaring or plotting or trying. You can't, that's not a kabedes avicha v'ismecha. Kabedes avicha v'ismecha has to be done in a way where you're giving them a sense of kavod. Kavod comes with kaved. You're giving them substance. You're making them feel like they exist. That's the way you're supposed to do it. It shouldn't be done like what Esav did, like of Zasachmad, of inside the fib, of trying to entrap. I thought that's what he said. Another beautiful proof of that is what are the clothing that Esav has? It's the divrei chamudos. Oh. He's wearing the divrei the big day chamudos. That's the lo sachmod. He's wearing those clothes that are clothes of entrapment. It's done with a different mindset, not in terms of giving existence, but trying to control. That's not what the. But again, the point really, what we're saying over here is Esav. The way Esav is doing kibbud av va'em is intense. And actually, he's applauded about the way he's doing certain things, but it's not being done for the right motivation. Honoring parents, the sense has to be not because it's payback, it has to be a sense of gratitude. And in terms of us, ourselves, is that then what are we doing as parents to let our children recognize what they need to be grateful for? So I think that's what the takeaway needs to be. We don't want it to be, I did this for you, I did that for you, you owe me. Which is usually the message that we very often give. How can you do this? I did this for you, and I did that, and I put you through college, and where you're making it a sense of payback. Which in fact creates a more negative feeling, because when you feel somebody owes you, what do we need to be doing as parents? And no, the message we need to be giving is how important life is, and how giving you the ability to grow, and giving you the ability of that what you can become, and and then by appreciating all of that, then the ones that they'll give credit to are the parents because of the sense. That's really the focus we need to be focusing. If we want our parents to do kibbud av va'em at all, and obviously do it in the right way, it has to be that we're giving over the message that it has to be done for the appreciation and not for the payback. And you can't say you need to be appreciative. It doesn't work. You need to, by example, show them what we have to be appreciative for, and then they can actually come to the idea of doing kibbud av va'em for the right reason.